Welcome back. In this lecture, we will solve a problem using decision control structures. Without any further ado, let's get started. The problem states that write a program to calculate the salary as per the following table. So here, a company is offering different salary structure according to the gender of the employees. You can see male and female. So we have to design different salary structures for male and female employees. So we can at first divide this using an if-else-if block. If male, sum code, else if female, sum code. Okay. Now when we are designing the salary structure for the male, it will go here. It will go here. You can see there's the green box. In the green box, we have to decide the salary of the employees depending on their years of service and their qualification. Years of service can be greater than or equal to 10, or it can be less than 10. We can design this structure as using if for years of service greater than or equal to 10 and else for years of service less than 10. So if years of service greater than 10 or else, of course else means by default years of service will be less than 10. Now once we check the years of service, then we have to check for the qualification. We can use this using again another if-else block. If the qualification is postgraduate, then the salary is 15,000. If the qualification is graduate, the salary is 10,000. We can just simply put an else here. So if qualification postgraduate, salary is 15,000, else the salary is 10,000. Okay. So this whole thing, let me use the black color. This whole thing will go in this if block. Okay. Again, if the years of service are less than 10, we have to check for the qualification again. If postgraduate, we can set the salary to 10,000, or else for the graduates, the salary can be 7,000. You can put an else if here too. Else if graduate, salary 7,000. But it is optional. You can use else, simply else, or else if graduate. That is because there are no other conditions except postgraduate and graduate. Your employees should be either postgraduate or graduate. So if you use if postgraduate, then simply putting else will do. But if you want to be better clarified, you can use else if graduate. That's also fine. So these two blocks will go inside this else block. Okay. In the similar manner, in the exact same fashion, we will design the salary structure for the females too. But the females have different salaries, you can see. So we will design according to that. So let's go to the code and see further how can we design this in a C program. Okay. So here we are in the code blocks. To start the code, we have included some header files. You can see stdio.h and stdlib.h. You can use others if you want. Then our main function. Then we're declaring our variables here. You can see our variables here. The first variable we're declaring is gen. It is a character type variable. In the gen variable, we will save the gender of the employee. So you can see that printf, enter the gender of the employee, M for male and F for female. So gen can be either M or F depending on the gender of the employee. We are using scanf command to scan the input from the user, and we are saving this character to the gen variable. That's done. Then we have three variables, yos, sal and qual. Yos indicates years of service. It is of course an integer, so it is int type. So you can see that printf, enter the years of service of the employee. We are using scanf command to scan the input from the user, and it is finally saved to the YOS variable. Then comes the salary variable. It is of course an integer. It is the salary amount. We will calculate this depending on the conditions. Then we have qual variable. It indicates the qualification. We are using it as int. We are designing it in such a way that user will input 0 for graduate employees and users will input 1 for postgraduate employees. You can see 0 for graduate and 1 for postgraduate. Then comes our first if block. This is our if block. As I have mentioned earlier, this if block is for male employees. So you can see the condition of this if is gen equal m. That means if the employee is male, then we will execute this block inside the if. So if the gender is fixed, it's male, then we have to check for the years of service. You can see if years of service greater than or equal to 10, this is the if block. With this if block, there is another else block. Of course, if the years of service is greater than 10, we will go inside this if. Otherwise, if the years of service is less than 10, by default, we will go inside this else. So if the years of service is greater than or equal to 10, you can see we have to check for the qualification. If qualification is equal to 1, that means it is postgraduate. We are setting the salary to 15,000. And else if, that means the qualification of the employee is now graduate, so qual equal 0, so salary is 10,000. Same thing is done inside the else block too. If the qualification is postgraduate, then the salary is 10,000, otherwise it is 7,000. So this is the end of the if block, first if block. That means we are done with the designing of male salary structure. We are now moving to female salary structure, else if gen equal female. Now there is the same thing repeated in the else if block. First of all, we have to check for the years of service using this if else block. You can see the if here indicating the years of service greater than 10 or equal to 10, and the else block by default will calculate the salary if the years of service is less than 10. Inside the if block or else block, we are checking for the qualification. If the qualification is postgraduate, we are setting the salary to 12,000. In the similar manner, if the employee is graduate, we are setting the salary to 9,000. And the same fashion, we are also designing the salary for female employees with years of service less than 10 inside the else block. If the graduation, if the qualification is post-graduation, then the salary is 10,000, otherwise it is 6,000. So after all this, if we input the gender, years of service and the qualification of an employee correctly, we will get a salary amount according to the qualifications, years of service and the gender. Finally, we will print out and we will end the code by return 0. So that's all. Now let's check out the output and see what it looks like. Okay, so enter the gender of the employee, M for male and F for female. Years of service of the employee, let's say 8 years. 0 for graduate and 1 for postgraduate, let's say 0, just a graduate. The salary is calculated to be 7,000. Let's see if it is correct. So our employee was male, his years of service was 8, which is less than 10, and he was a graduate. Okay, so yes, the salary is 7,000. So that's our code. One final remark about this problem. This company is being very discriminating towards the female. If the female employee has same years of service and same qualification, they are paid less than the male employees. That's not good at all. Okay, so that's our first example. In the next video, we'll move on to our second example, which also involves some if-else command. Okay, goodbye.